In my opinion, there are times that blacks do some of the most questionable and crazy things. Now, I came across this article, which I'm going to post on the bottom, and I want you guys to check it out for yourself. But it's an article that the title reads, Trump calls Medgar Evers a hero at the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. Here's why. And it's a rather lengthy article, okay? But when I read this article, the question came to my mind. First of all, I'm going to read a portion of it, okay? I'm just going to read a small portion, and then I'm going to put the link on the bottom, and you guys can read the article in its entirety for yourself. But it says on Saturday, a new civil rights museum is opening in Jackson that will display the rifle and tell the story of Evers and Mississippi's other civil rights martyrs. Okay, now I want to stop right there for a moment. The reason that's questionable to me is, why would you use the weapon that assassinated or murdered someone? Why would you put that on display for history's sake? You know, to me, that's almost like that's celebratory. You're celebrating the fact that this young man was murdered by that firearm, and you're displaying that firearm as a remembrance to this firearm that was used by a white supremacist to kill this young black male. Now, some of you, I completely understand the reasoning and the motive. I understand what you're trying to do. But that also reminds me of George Zimmerman. When he killed Trayvon Martin, what did they do with the firearm that killed Trayvon Martin? If you don't know, I'll tell you. Zimmerman put that firearm on Amazon. Was it Amazon or eBay? And he sold that firearm for thousands of dollars, celebrating the weapon that took out Trayvon Martin. And what did white supremacists do? A white supremacist bought the firearm, spent a lot of money buying the firearm that killed Trayvon Martin as a celebratory piece. This is the firearm that killed a young black male. So when you take that firearm and place it in this new museum, what type of message are you really sending? Yeah, it may seem like you're protesting and you're in favor of black people, and it may seem like you're against white supremacy. But let's just take a look at the history, a short history of modern day black Americans. Think of the number of black on black violence and crime in the black community. Now, there's people that may get upset. They don't want you to talk about it, but yet blacks are allowing it to happen in their communities. And they celebrate it because when you speak out against it, they then start using the same racist overtone that white racists used to use against blacks. During the civil rights movement, they start calling blacks racial names. You're a coon. That's their favorite. You're a coon. Steppin' Fletcher, Buck Dancer, Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus, Shine. All of these racial names that they refer to other black people, but they claim to love black people. Not only that, they're leading the front line protesting against Donald Trump when Donald Trump really never really displayed any type of racism. But who did display racism? Hillary Clinton. Took pictures of standing right next to a KKK Grand Dragon. Bill Clinton, that many blacks call the first black president, he is responsible for mass incarceration of black people. Hillary Clinton had even made the comment that she admired Margaret Sanger and her dream to exterminate black people. So now you have so many black females that's also following the path of Margaret Sanger and the beliefs of Hillary Clinton by aborting their children. Black females in this modern day time had even made the comments that they refuse to give birth to black children, primarily black males. Black females are buying weave that look like white women. They're bleaching their skin to look like white women, but they claim to love black people. So by displaying this firearm in a museum, it's almost like you're celebrating the fact that this young black male was killed during a time that you did not exist. But yet, think of all the young black males that were killed by police. You raged and you protested for a while, and then after a while you became silent and they're forgotten. The only time you mention them is when you want to raise hell. And if you ask the average black person what are they protesting for, they don't know. They only regurgitate what they hear their masters tell them. Hillary Clinton told them to resist. Barack Obama suggested that they resist. And now they're fighting the battles for the same people that not only got wealthy off of them, but also oppressed them. Think about that. So black people in this modern day time do a lot of questionable things, man. Make you really say, So this article says on Saturday, a new civil rights museum is opening in Jackson that will display that rifle, and tell the story of Edwards and Mississippi, other civil rights martyrs. But much of the attention shifted from those being memorialized. Now this goes to show how much they care about these black people, because they were easily distracted and were taken off their square from memorializing these people that they claim to love and respect. But much of the attention shifted from those being memorialized to President Trump, who generated a firestorm by attending. Now keep in mind, they didn't request Barack Obama to speak, nor Michelle Obama, but Donald Trump was there, the president. And they rejected what he had to say because his masters, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and the media, fed their minds with racial lies against Donald Trump. It says some civil rights leaders, including Representative John Lewis, Democrat, I call them Democrats, and the NAACP President Derek Johnson, announced they would not stand alongside a president they regard as racist. What makes him a racist? Because of the fact that he wanted to block illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants from coming into the country. Right? So Donald Trump spoke briefly to a private gathering Saturday at the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum, acknowledging Edwards, James, Meredith, and Martin Luther King as heroes of the past. Now, I'm going to put the rest of the article on the bottom and you guys can read it in its entirety for yourself. But it makes no sense to me as to why they want to put the firearm that took this black male and killed him. Now, I saw the display they had in Atlanta a long time ago of Dr. Martin Luther King. And they had things like his suit. They had his cuff, they had his suit, they had his shoes, his tie, and stuff like that. They didn't have, the firearm that killed him. They just had things that he owned, the suit that he wore when he was killed, in his remembrance, But these clowns are displaying a firearm. They're celebrating the firearm that took Medgar Evers. Just like the white supremacists bought the firearm that killed Trayvon Martin. It makes no sense to me. So I'm going to post this link on the bottom and you guys can check it out for yourself. Feedback and tell me what you think. But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, modern day black Americans are displaying more racism towards black people than Donald Trump. They are more racist than Donald Trump. Who's the real racist here? Is it Donald Trump? I've never heard Donald Trump say anything against black people nor any other race. Now, when he referred to the woman as Pocahontas, now I will say I was not offended by that. My mother is Native American. And I was not offended by him referring to that female as Pocahontas because she faked being a Native American. She faked it. So he was using that sarcastically towards her. It was sarcasm. But yet the media turned it into a race thing and black people are gobbling it up and listening to what the media is saying, but yet the media supported police shooting unarmed blacks. It makes no sense to me. You guys are doing some very questionable things, and I guarantee you, when somebody listens to this video, I will be called racial names by black people, but yet they want to stand up and protest against racism when they display more racism towards black people and white people. I don't hear too many white people in this day and time calling me out of my name. I don't see too many white people in this day and time killing black people like black people kill black people. And black people feel they need or they deserve a license to kill each other. It's their right to kill each other, which is sickening. And it makes no sense to me at all. Black males leave their children to die in the street. They don't support their children. They get these women pregnant and then they leave the children. They leave the woman to raise that child alone, but yet they claim to care about black people. They will get on YouTube and harass and stalk other men and talk about what other men are doing with their children, but yet they themselves don't take care of their kids. So that's calling the pot calling the kettle black. It makes no sense to me. See, black people have to clean up their own act before they start pointing fingers at other people. Nobody hates black people like black people do. Nobody despises black people like black people do. And no other race is displaying hatred and racism towards black people like black people in this modern day is doing. So this makes no sense to me at all. And like I've said in the past, you cannot take black Americans serious. Just can't take them serious. If a race war were to really kick off, I couldn't trust nobody because blacks are too divided. Black men hate black men hate black women, black men hate black children. Black women hate their children. Black women hate themselves. We can see that with the weave and the skin lightening cream. And black females hate black men. A house divided within itself will not stand. So why would you glorify and display a firearm that was used to take out another black man? I guarantee you there are museums around that's got ropes, nooses, where they hang black people. That's celebrating the death of black people. Just like there's people that question the cross that many Christians wear around their necks. Why would you wear a cross around your neck that took out your Savior? It makes no sense to me. So you're glorifying and praising the weapon that killed the person that you claim to love and respect. So check out the link I put on the bottom. It's a Washington Post article. Feedback, tell me what you think. Subscribe. Until next time, I'm fearless.